Hi guys, I'm Kiwani and I make videos on nutrition, exercise science, and zero waste. And today we're going to be making Nordic seed bread. I made a couple of loaves of this over the holidays and people went crazy over it. It's super easy. And for us, we are gluten-free, so it makes it a little bit easier to make. You'll see it's like so easy, plus it is delicious. It's got lots of nuts and seeds in it, which all the ingredients I'm able to source in bulk also, which is super awesome for the zero waste part of this. So I hope this is helpful and we'll just get straight into the video. So what you're gonna need for your recipe is 6 eggs, half a teaspoon of salt, 100 grams of sesame seeds or chia seeds. I'm gonna be using chia seeds because that's what I have. 100 grams of hazelnuts, 100 grams of pumpkin seeds, 100 grams of sunflower seeds, 100 grams of walnuts, 100 grams of dried apricots, 50 grams each of raisins or cherries. It's pretty easy. It's just a bunch of different nuts and seeds, and you can sub out different nuts and seeds. I like a good variety, so what I have here is walnuts, sunflower seeds, cashews, hazelnuts, pumpkin seeds.
I say peanut, hazelnut, cashew nut, macadamia nut, if you don't stop naming nuts.
Dried apricot, currants, dried cherries, salt. This is just an oil pump. It basically compresses some air into here. It's totally refillable. I just buy oil at the store and then refill this. It's super easy. A nice bowl, a spatula, eggs, and I use a silicone baking pan, or bread pan. It's so much easier to get things out of here and I don't have to line it. You still want to spray it down with some oil, and that's a lot more helpful. And a scale. Almost forgot the scale because everything's done in grams on this recipe. So that's why it's easy to swap things out, because it's just done by grams. So if the volume is different depending on the size of the nut or seed, it doesn't really matter. So this is the recipe that I'm following, and I am going to be swapping out the sesame seeds for something else. So something else I forgot to mention is that you're going to need a cutting board and a good chef's knife, because some of these nuts are a little bit big for just the seed bread to begin with. So you're just going to want to chop them up before you mix them in with the rest of the things. Depending on the kind of food scale you have, you're going to want to zero it out. So what I am going to do is I have this other bowl for weighing things, and what I'm going to do is just turn on the scale, and it's already set to grams, but over here it says unit, and you can scroll through the different units. So grams, ounces, milliliters, pounds, ounces, and grams. If you don't know how to tare something, so right now that's reading my finger, the pressure of my finger, which is awesome. I know it's super basic stuff, but some people don't know how to use a scale. So this has tared out the weight of this bowl. So if I take this off, that means this bowl weighs 743 grams, right? So I put the bowl back on, it's zeroed out, and then I'm gonna start weighing my ingredient. I'm just gonna start with the walnuts. So I'm gonna do 100 grams of walnuts. I'm just gonna kind of slowly pour them in. Okay, so that's 100 grams of walnuts, and then what you're gonna do is just throw them onto your cutting board and chop them up really quick, and they don't have to be super fine. Next is sunflower seeds. Okay, so next is hazelnuts. You're gonna wanna chop these up too, so just make sure your scale is on. And then everything else we're gonna do, we're just gonna follow the recipe and add in as we go. So 100 grams of this. So I'm all finished with the nuts and seeds. So the next thing is the dried apricots. So I make sure that my scale is on, and then I have my dried apricots. So I'm gonna do 100 grams of dried apricots, and then I'm gonna chop them up because they're kind of big. And And then I'm gonna do 50 grams each of the cherries, dried cherries, and currants. So what I'm gonna do now is go ahead and add my salt. So this little spoon is about a half a teaspoon of salt. So I'm just gonna do that guy. And then add my eggs. So what we have here is our little kind of, this is what it looks like, this kind of gloppy mixture, which looks kind of gross at the moment, but I swear it'll be delicious. And then you need to take your little pan. So if you're gonna use a regular pan, what I would recommend is like a metal or glass pan, is lining it with some sort of parchment paper or something like that. I just spray it with oil because the silicone, it pops right out. It's fantastic. And so just pump that guy up and then just give it a little sides, get the bottom. And I'm now in a cloud of oil. Awesome. That's the best. You can see it works really, really well as far as like a zero waste alternative to a spray oil. I love it. It's fantastic. And then you just pour this goop in there, and I'll show you that. So this is all in there, and I kind of pressed it down, and you can kind of like drop it a little bit to give me air bubbles out. And then because these silicone pans are flexible, I don't want to put it right on the rack. So I sometimes will use a cookie sheet or a baking sheet, but today I'm just going to use this glass pan because this is what I have right now. The other ones are dirty. TMI, whatever. So I preheated the oven to 350 degrees, and then I'm just gonna throw this guy in there for an hour, and it should be cooked. It'll be kind of crusty on top and very firm, and it is delicious. I'm gonna have it with some cheese and some of my mother-in-law's raspberry jam, which is divine. It's so good. She makes it herself. She picks the berries herself on her property. It's so good. I'm so excited. So it's been an hour, so I'm gonna take the nut bread out of the oven, and then I'm gonna put it on this cooling rack, and then we're gonna wait, and then we're gonna eat it. So this is how this looks. It's pretty firm, and I set this glass pan onto a little rack, and then all you wanna do is you can kind of pull the edges away from the bread itself, and if you want to, you can stick a knife in there, but it usually comes out pretty easily. Ta-da, just like that. So put that back in there, and then this is really hot, so you gotta turn it over to cool, and then I let it cool for like 20 minutes or so before you cut into it, but you can see it's pretty dense, but it's gonna be really, really good, so I'm really excited. Oh my God, I can't wait. I'm super excited. Okay, so it's still warm, but this is the final product. So this is the final product. This is that seed bread. So you can see there's still chunks of nuts in there. Okay, so this is the lovely seed bread, and I cut it pretty thin. I put a slice of cheese on there. This is some sharp cheddar that I buy in bulk at my local butcher, which is super awesome. And then this is that amazing, look at that jam, which is so amazing. Think scale for the jam. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. I hope you like it. If you try this recipe, please tell me what you think below. Try different kinds of nuts and seeds. Yeah, let me know what you think. If you like this recipe, please comment below. And I would love to hear your feedback on this recipe. If this is helpful, please like and subscribe and give me a thumbs up and maybe hit the bell. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks. Bye. Oh, it's so good. I've been really hungry. I'm waiting for this for hours.